Good morning, lower school. Today's assembly, we're going to be talking about misogyny. I know you've been doing this in your Charter Trust session, but hopefully we can build on what knowledge you have from that. There was a lot of confusion as to what the difference between misogyny and sexism is. So hopefully by the end of this assembly, you have a better understanding of what it is. So I'm just going to be talking to you really quickly on this video, and then I've given your tutors a PowerPoint, which will hopefully generate some discussions between you and your peers, just to clarify what it is and what we're seeing every day in terms of misogyny. So the actual definition is the hatred, the contempt or prejudice against women. Point blank. It's not to do with men, it's just women. Sexism can work both ways, but misogyny is on women, and unfortunately we're seeing it way too often, not just in the school but outside of school as well. So we all know what sexism looks like. It's when somebody is being outwardly negative to somebody based on their gender. But today I want to talk about something called microaggressions. So these are things that happen every day. You might not even notice that it's happening, but it is embedding the way young girls, older girls as well, women feel about themselves, their self-confidence, their self-worth, their self-love can all be plummeted because of these microaggressions that are coming from everywhere. So currently we're teaching girls to aspire to obviously get jobs and have a successful career. That's what everybody's teaching girls to do. But we're also, via television, things that we're movies, and in school and at home, we're teaching girls how to become wives and mothers. We're teaching them skills to be the good housewife, and we're not doing this so much with boys. And that's not because we're sexist, it's because these microaggressions are embedded from a very, very young age, and we're doing it without even realizing it. Now, obviously, those of you who know me, my husband is currently a house husband. He's given up work to look after our baby. It was a discussion between both of us. It was a decision based on what we needed as a family. With COVID and everything, we felt it would be better if one of us was at home, and my husband was more than happy to give up work to look after our daughter. And he still gets a lot of comments from friends and family members like, you're doing a woman's job. He is being the most amazing dad, and it has nothing to do with his gender or how good he is at playing with my daughter and bringing her up into the world. It shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. But unfortunately, people do have opinions. Whatever gender you identify as, we're all part of this community. We're all trying to make it a better place for us and our children and our future grandchildren. And it shouldn't be gender dependent what happens, what we can do. It shouldn't be. As a female teacher, I witness microaggressions daily. Even though I call students out on this, it's still happening. I'll give you one example. I was speaking to a student about his behaviour in the corridor a week ago. It wasn't that long ago. And whilst I was telling him the reasons why I'd brought him out, he complimented my hair. He stopped me and said, "Miss, your hair's really nice today," whilst I was telling him off. He was doing that to try and distract me. He thought I would be distracted and stop telling him off and say, "Oh, thank you so much." That didn't happen. He would never have done that to a male member of staff. These are microaggressions. He thought he could speak to me like that because I am female, point blank. And I'm not calling him sexist. It's just something, again, that is embedded within him. He felt like he could do that, but it's wrong. We can't be doing that. In that instance, it was a boy, but girls can be misogynistic too. There's multiple girls that I speak to who respond to me differently as they do to my male colleagues here. There's a lot more respect shown for male members of staff here. And as a female teacher, it is disheartening. It does make me feel a certain type of way when I see students behaving differently in other classes than my own. And it does need to stop. We need to make sure, you as our student cohort need to make sure that you are respecting every single member of staff. It doesn't matter what gender they are. You all will have somebody in your life, if not right now, but in the future. You might have mothers, aunts, sisters, grandmothers, carers, friends, girlfriends, or even teachers that you care about in your life. And someday you might grow older, plan to have children, and one of those children you might end up being a girl, and it will break your heart if one day she comes home and tells you that she's not able to do something because she's a girl. There is nothing that we can't do because we are female. Those are outwardly misogynistic views. But also to have it embedded in ourselves that we are incapable of doing something because we are female, it's wrong. There was one time, this is when I've been guilty of being misogynistic myself. I was on a plane and the pilot started telling everybody, you know, they do their pilot talk, how long the flight's going to be. And I said to my husband, oh my gosh, I'm a bit nervous. And he was like, why? I said, because the pilot's female. I've never had a female pilot before. And I genuinely felt nervous. It's misogynistic. Just because she's a female, she shouldn't. She flew brilliantly and no differently from any male pilot I've had. And so to have this, that's a prejudice I had. Don't have anymore. How many times have you assumed a doctor's come in that the doctor's going to be male? Or even working here, the amount of times somebody's asked me why I haven't gone into primary school teaching. There's a lot more female members of staff in a primary school, and there's a lot more male members of staff in secondary schools. I don't know why that is, but that is how it is, and lots of people question me as to why I've made this decision. I prefer secondary school. It's got nothing to do with my gender. I shouldn't be pushed into working with younger children just because I'm a woman. So now I'm gonna finish my spiel now. I've gone on for 7 minutes, and let you work through the PowerPoint with your teachers, with your tutors, and just have a little discussion, mostly about these microaggressions, and try and recall if you've seen it happening or if it's happened to yourself. I will say this again very clearly. It is not just men against women. Girls do it to girls all the time as well, and we need to cut it out because it's not fair. Okay, that's it. I hope you learned something. Let's go.